Good morning, race fans. This is Today at the Races at Laurel Park. I'm Tim Tulloch. That's Keith Fustel. Today's the first day of our spring meet. Moving closely to the Spring Classics, Tessio, Preakness, Black-Eyed Susan, all the good stuff.
Looking forward to it. About 6 weeks maybe from Black-Eyed Susan Day. So I think I did the math right, 5 or 6 weeks. Somebody help me out. But no, looking forward to it. This racetrack as well. We had just a deluge of rain, early in the week. And, man, what a great job by our track crew, the maintenance crew, to get this track, good shape today. We're fast. I was a little surprised to see that, but a phenomenal job, a team effort, no doubt, and looking forward to this weekend.
It was a really, really big effort. We did have tons of rain Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. Track was floated. Yesterday morning, I got here, as I always do early. It was opened up. It was back harrowed. Wow, look at this. And then again this morning, it was harrowed. Horses were working over it, handling it really, really well. They did a great job. As I mentioned, this is the opening day of our Spring Meat Festival of Champions. It will run through May 27th, and then we'll take our little hiatus up to Pimlico. We're looking forward to this meet. It's going to get started with some big races next Saturday. On the 13th, we have 4 stakes, 4 $100,000 stakes. Wow. The Heavenly Cause, the Premonetta, the Native Dancer, and the Frank Whiteley. I was fortunate enough to win 2 of those 4 races. That was a pretty good deal. Awesome. And then the following week we go into winning your ends for Tessio and the Weber City Miss. So we've got a lot going on. We're looking forward to an exciting meet here at Laurel Park. Let's take a quick look outside, and there you see the track. It's listed as fast. I was talking to Keith earlier. It still has a little moisture in it, but they're getting across it. It's fast.
And this wind is helping dry things out. Look at the turf course just greening up beautifully. I have, got a little text message. Looks like we're just a couple weeks away from getting onto this beautiful turf course at Laurel Park.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. We're gonna be delayed a week. We had a lot of rain, and while it was greening up earlier, it wasn't growing. It wasn't getting any taller. So hopefully some warm days. We're not getting the warm days that we typically get.
No.
And so hopefully that will take off in the next week. Considering the weather, weird weather around the country that a lot of people are having, if we're 1 week late on turf, no big deal. Well, we can deal with that. Let's get going with today's 9-race card. Race 1 kicks off the early pick 5, as always, 50-cent minimum, 12% takeout on the early and the late pick 5. Carryover potential only in the late pick 5. Let's start it out. Race 1, maiden claimers, 12,500, going 3/4 of a mile. We're going to start with your top pick. Keith, that's the 2. Where's Ray? This one got a little late, going 7/8 in his most recent, but start before last. Good effort going 3/4 behind 2 next out winners.
Absolutely. It's come back in pretty good form off of the debut back in April of 23. I thought, I was wondering when I saw this race, I said, Salzman's got 2 in here, 2 similar styles. I said, avoid the duel, avoid the duel. One of them not going to make it today. Scratch the 3, Super Needy. I think that leaves Where's Ray now, who I thought might rate just off of that one, on the engine. Ran well, held well against the grain of the racetrack. On the 8th, was down inside. Still 5 clear of that 3rd place finisher. Sharp internals. I think doing this one gets to the front and gets brave with Martina Rojas.
I agree with that. Where's Ray? 8-5 on the morning line. Let's turn to the 6th Infinite Series for Pedro Nazario. Jamie Rodriguez gets the call. Blinkers go on today, and drops to the lowest level of his career.
This is interesting. The form, it's just a little bit of a regression we've seen, trying to ramp things back up. The last buyer figure still makes him very competitive here. I think he would have liked and preferred the 3 Super Needy staying in to maybe add to things up front, maybe a contested pace. But, this is, if he's not going to do it today, I don't know. He's going to have to go somewhere. 0 for 15. He's had his chances. He's run against the right kind as well. He's run against the Bing Angelot, energy efficient.
And recently.
Horses that have come on and done well, just seeing if he can get back on track there. It's got just.
But, certainly. His form from late last year and early this year wins this race hands down. It wins going away, but has fallen off form, trying to look for a little form here this afternoon under Jamie Rodriguez.
I think he'll get a stalking trip, no doubt. He'll bring a finish. You've got J-Rod. A's making waves, kind of that question mark horse, adding the Lasix right behind Medigooch, 2 races back. Right. Last, not so good, but does drop freshened, adds Lasix. That could be the key for Ace making ways. So I'm still going to stick with the 2. I like the races, just a slight fade the last couple, almost giving way grudgingly. I think can dictate things up top in the opener.
2-6 for Keith at 6-2 for myself. I have the 6 on top.
Okay.
Infinite Series with the blinkers going on and taking that a little bit of a class drop here this afternoon, maybe trying to get back on form. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. Keith, you did a ticket, $18. Let's see.
Yeah, very affordable. Yeah, we don't like to, just hand. You're coming back. You want a nice, easy start here. If we catch something, maybe we'll bump it up a little bit. 18, I think that's fair. 3 deep to get you started. 3, 6, and 7. A key scratch out of race 2. The 4 Sustenance is out. 2 deep in the 3rd with the 1 and the 2. Like Mo Tough a lot today. Race 4. 2 and 6. Spear Gun, Flat Out Flying, holding form off the break. In race 5, we wrap it up with the 4, 5, and 7. That's a tricky little race 5. I can see Never Grew Up. Double Shot of Courage is interesting. Come back with Lasix. Shows a good race at Delaware Page. I want to keep it honest. 18 is fine. There's your ticket for that early pick 4. I do not have any kind of monster play today. None of those 15, 20 to 1 morning lines that kind of really grab my attention. So we're going to have to kind of job along the way, and hopefully we can add things up.
I've got one.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about race number 2 right now. Now there's a 3 lifetime. $12,500 is the claiming price, going a mile and 16 for 3-year-olds and upward. We'll start with your top pick, 10-1 on the line, Keith.
Yeah.
Only Child coming back off a little bit of a layoff for Joanne Schenkel. They've waived. They're in for the waiver.
Yes,
They're running protected.
That's the key. That was the key for me. Seeing that gets help. Sustenance, the Rudy Sanchez Solomon, obviously the relationship there we know within that barn. So Mena was named on, but he stays here. Maybe this is playing along. I don't know. We're going to find out. But Only Child, I like the positioning down inside. This horse has tactical speed and doesn't mind a fight. Now, this is definitely an ask off 308 days going 2 turns. But if he's into it, I think that natural fight in him can take over from the quarter pole home, and he can maybe upset these. I think he's going to come down certainly off of that line a few ticks because of the scratch of Sustenance. But, and the Rudy Barn, because I kind of went and looked at his stats on Formulator. The plus 180, he's okay. He's been good with that. So seeing, the training tendencies, the similarities there within the 2 barns, I'll hedge towards there. I think Trash Talking Larry, the 7, we have a stat concerning this runner, the combination of trainer Jose Corrales, the jockey Dennis Arrojo. This has been good the last 6 months, and even further back if you want to take it. But the last 6 months, 8 for 32, 25%, 15 for 32 in the money with an ROI. It's a good one, 286. Most recently hit with Hateful, who made that run going route to sprint. We're going to go sprint to route here with Trash Talking Larry, who I liked last time, lost all chance. He was a little close to a slower pace. He's got some flattening out in him, but I think he can bring a finish against this group. But you're right. Second spot, third spot, maybe the key for him.
I like him, but my doubt about him is when even though these races were against Tuffer, the last 3 times he's gone 2 turns. Correct. He's been beaten double digits. Yeah. And it was against Tuffer, but they were bad beats, 19 lengths, 23 lengths. They were really, really bad beats. So that's my question about Trash Talking Larry. Yeah. Clearly, he's in my exact. Let's talk about the 6. Keanu for Kieran McGee, Carlos Lopez coming off a little bit of a layoff. Where a little bit of a break, where McGee hits at about 24%. Yeah,
and this is that kind of like, what do you do? What do you do? You're looking at this horse. You look at his last race. His first race back, beaten favorite, coming out from Gulfstream to Parks. Battled okay, grudgingly late. Last time out, drew that outside post. Jock was not intent at all to go towards the front. It was a rating hold early. It was an overland trip, as I like to call it. Now we got a barn change into a barn that's 38% over the last 30 days. Anything McGee sends out, anything Ness sends out right now the last couple months, you just throw on your ticket.
You have to.
That's it. You just trust what they're bringing, and that's going to be it. So Keanu gets definite help with Sustenance coming out. So if you go back on the page where he's kind of shown that speed on the synthetic surface, which he might be a little bit better on, but here's a horse that was thrown into the swale after a maiden score. This horse with Lopez, I think, will be up on the engine today, and you might see a form reversal from that last race.
Well, I like all the combinations here. Going first time for McGee, 24%, coming off that little bit of a rest, which we talked about, at 32% in the combination, as you just spoke to Lopez and McGee. I mean, everything's right there in the mix to shake things up.
Let's just say if he doesn't fire today, then we're going to see him again. I mean, he'll probably ship somewhere else. I just can't see him. If he's going to fire, it's here. I'm like, my question mark here, why not 5,000? You know, off of that race last time, off that line. We're going to stay here for the 10. I'll take the shot, final shot.
Maybe there just might be more there than we think. And
well, I mean, he had no chance last time. Last time.
And in his defense, there are horses that simply don't like parks. Simply don't pick their feet up over, and I've seen it a lot. So getting over here at the Laurel, very similar in race 2 as we move to race 3. This is another 3 lifetime 12-5, this time for fillies and mares, going the 1-turn mile here at Laurel Park. Take out the 5 Baby Sox. I thought that was a pretty good big scratch here.
Huge.
You end up on the 1 Mo Tough for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. Angel Cruz, first off the claim for Rudy, and stays at this level. He doesn't try to reach.
And is able to do that because he's back within the 30-day time frame, right? Because the horse was claimed for $10,000. So you have that opportunity to come back at that 12-5 jump up. So he's fine.
And stay in the lifetime condition.
You got it. So that works for Mo Tough. I think I've liked her all along. She comes into Maryland, and she's handled the main track, not really running super fast, but she's not a real big field. But she's got some fight to her. I mean, I like that. The inside draw at a mile, she's going to come away cleanly, but she gets a key scratch with Baby Sox coming out who look like the speed of the speed. So without her in here, without the 3, Aruda, who's another one I thought might try to fire back towards the front, it's her race to lose on the front. And if she comes away cleanly the opening, just leaving the chute, she'll be a tough cookie all the way up front.
And like you said, she has fight in her. She's 9 for 12 on the board, 1, 2, or 3. So she shows up every time. The 2 Early Rose for Charles A. Frock. Coming out of a pretty encouraging race last time out, going these 2 turns here at Laurel. Got
the right trip. I think Torrealba did a nice job, was able to just save ground every step of the way, let those speeds go. It was a lone speed that got it done. Then come morning was keen up front, never done, did all the chasing, but was willing enough. Now coming back to 1 turn, can she pair up? That's the biggest thing for her, Tim. She hasn't run those bigger races back to back. You might just get it today in this shorter field. I think she can stay close enough because those internals were pretty good last time.
I've got the 7 on top, always forward for Jose Corrales, getting a slight drop off a good effort, going 7/8 of a mile. I know you're not a big weight guy. I'm a big weight guy. This horse is getting 10 to 14 pounds for the majority of the field, coming off a good race. I'm going to take a shot here, always forward, 6-1 on the line.
Certainly could make a difference at this beaten condition at the route of ground. Yep.
So there you go. I almost said it. 7-1 for myself. 1-2.
We're gonna get a counter up there, up in the corner.
I didn't go down that.
You didn't do it.
Here we go. Race 4 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. I did do a ticket. $21,000 for all practical purposes in the carryover. My Pick 6 ticket looks a little bit like this. Spent a little bit more money than I typically do, but we're going to be either in the game or going to be one and done because I'm going to single on my best bet of the day. This is 6 flat out flying in race number 4. Race number 5, 3, 4, and 7. I've got the 4 Paco the Taco Man on top there. Race 6, 4, 6, and 7. I like the 6 there. Rini 6 for Karen McGee, 7-2 on the line. Race 7, I had to spread here. This race is pretty. I find it pretty wide open. I use a 1, 3, 5, and 6. The 6 is my top pick in there. My price play of the day, 10-1 for Kieran McGee, because a lot of these horses have had opportunities to win and they don't. So I'll take a shot there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Race 8, I use the 8, 3, and 7. In race 9, wow, I use the 3, 5, and 6. $64.80 ticket. Nice carryover of $21,000. Race 4 is an optional starter claimer, going a mile and a 16th for 3-year-olds and up. And we're going to start with your top pick, our top pick. That's the 6 flat out flying. We're going to go to the video screen. This race from December 30th, and we're going to pick this up midway through the turn.
How about this one, Tim? You love it. 52 starts for the 8-year-old, 18, 13, and 8. And a really good ride by Lopez this particular afternoon off a little freshening on the 30th of December. Was able to get to the better part of the racetrack early. Yes, a smaller field, but relaxed nicely, rode that inside path to carry him along, finds a split at the top of the stretch, and goes away, winning off by 4 and some change. Keying up against the right kind of horses is what I like. Gets a little help here with the scratch of 110. So now we're down to a 5-horse field. I think Uncle Irish might be the speed of the speed.
Yep.
The 2 Nesses look like the ones to be forward for me, and Spear Gun. But flat out flying, if we've got kind of a fair track, can just relax either towards the inside or maybe a path or 2 off of it to stalk and go on. He's bringing a finish in his races. You look at his last race, which Rapice came back in a 2 other than to run well. 7th place finisher came out of that race. That was a Jacobson runner sitting on go in 86 next out in a win there at Aqueduct.
Well,
So,
you just look at this
that's all
horse's form. As you mentioned, 18-time winner. You look at his form and you go, wow, what a nice horse. He always shows up to play. He very rarely runs a bad race at all. We talked about Spear Gun a little bit.
Yeah.
The last 2 times this one was over a fast racetrack going 2 turns. They were pretty big races. You have to go back to last November and to last December. Hasn't had a fast racetrack since then, although hopefully it dries out a little bit more. It would work in his favor.
Yeah, his top figure comes over this racetrack
Yep.
on a fast track. Laurel back in that race in November. It was a good one on Capture Storm. Was just on a tear at that time.
Yep.
We saw him recently. His form tail
Bob
off, but
Marco.
got the confidence. then had to go ahead against Bob Marco when he was just razor sharp. But Uncle Irish, to me, I think will go ahead and go. And he has, don't let that 65 buyer fool you. He has a chance. He jumps up sometimes and runs ultra big. I don't think, his instructions are going to be don't be getting in a duel early. I think Uncle Irish would be the one that goes. We shall see. But he got involved with Burks last time. It still kept on pretty well. Room to move up for Uncle Irish, but I'll key on flat out flying to hold form, to maintain that form, and maybe grind them down late.
And as you mentioned, you just right now, you can't leave a McGee horse out. You cannot leave a Ness horse out. Most times you cannot leave a Brittany Russell horse out. You have to use them. Let's talk about Brittany's horse real quick.
Sure.
Coming in from Penn National, running well out there, making a nice living, is a Pennsylvania bred, so why not? By the numbers, not too far off.
No.
Gets that inside draw, which I don't know if it's that beneficial for him because it doesn't show a ton of speed, but should be able to get good position.
But again, 5 wide, move 2 back, 3 path came, 4 wide, drifted in. Outside to inside, always with me with these 2-turn races. It's worth a couple lengths, and I think it's gonna need to move this one up a little bit more. I think overall, I know this is still a shorter field. This is a deeper, more quality field overall than what this one maybe has been facing. I know keys up with Wish for Peace and some of these others, but yeah, the inside. I know he wants to. It's still gonna help him, I think, in here.
Anytime he can save a little ground. The 6 flat out flying in race number 4 for both Keith and myself. We're going to take a quick break here. And when we get back, we'll talk about the late pick 5.
Thoroughbred racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Welcome back to Today at the Races on opening day of our spring meet here at Laurel Park. Keith Fusel, Tim Tulloch. Let's talk about race 5 for straight 3-year-olds. Claiming price $12,500, going 3/4 of a mile. We'll start with the 7 in this race. Your top pick, Get Like Mike, for Bobby Claceris. Look, for me, dropping to what is an appropriate level, a maiden breaker for $20,000.
Yeah, this is where he needs to be. You're looking well. This is the right spot. To me, it's not really a negative. It's a positive for him. Comes out of a race on March the 16th where he was just kind of flat. The race was quick, 1:11.3. It was like a tick off, or it might be a fifth better than Metaguch, that maiden 45. So it's a fast race. Kings River kind of benefited, made that wide run to get it done. But this race has also produced a winner. Mr. Agent came back to win, right, for Troy. That was going longer, but still positive for me. I think this is a spot. You have speed to the inside. Karamanos will be patient. He's going to have to get after him, though, by mid-turn, because this was a little bit of a laggard. He's done his best run from a little bit deeper off the pace in the sprints. Finally, he gets sprints back-to-back as well, because they've gone sprint, route, sprint, route, back to sprint. 2 sprints in a row, I think, is going to keep him a little bit sharper. Hopefully he's in touch by the time they hit the quarter pole, because I think he can kind of steadily progress and get it done.
Yeah, Karamanos good at riling one up, midway through that turn, going into the turn, say, hey, boy, we got to get going here a little bit. Let's talk about the 5. This is Not This Time, Randy. Let's go to the video clip here from March 23rd. We're going to pick this one up, the 3-ace pole.
He's come back in improved form. The Lasix went on off the break from November to March. Good effort against Never Grew Up. That one just got too big of an advantage, a quicker pace. Now stayed a little bit closer, 23-47-2. It doesn't really roll home, but what I like about this one is he just keeps going. Maynard was into this one from the get-go, and he didn't show any letdown. Sometimes you get scrubbing on a horse early. They want to flatten on you. He kept his mind into the game, stayed focused, kept going, separated here mid-stretch, and holds on late on that coronation time was a big number. Let's see if he can. He's going to have to stay even a little bit closer. Third time off the break. Can he lay a little tighter?
Winners.
Yeah, first time against winners. Can he sustain this form? And he's probably going to have to move up just a little bit if he's going to get it done. Your top selection, Paco the Taco Man. Was it the drop? Was it the first-time blinkers? Could have been both of them, but he was much better last time out.
Yes, and I like the fact that it's his best race here at Laurel since getting here to Laurel. Looks like it was an improvement in his last start. Toledo returns this afternoon. Warwick Sense, and I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I just like his name, Paco the Taco Man. Might be a name pick right there. How about the 3 Never Grew Up for Kieran McGee? Look, I didn't think that was a terrible effort in his last race, and 2 back. That was a good race. Only getting beat 3 lengths.
Yeah, he beats
getting the job done.
Yeah,
3 lengths.
Beats Not This Time, Randy. Last time out, I don't know if Martina moved just a hair too soon. I thought she'd be from a little bit further back, and they all kind of converged around the turn. 3 or 4 of them were battling. That was a day on the 10th where you kind of wanted to be up close as well, because speed carried, especially in sprints, on March to 10th. He can come from a little bit further back if need be. Yeah,
it's funny you say that, because in my notes right there, I expect to settle today and just come run more of a race like he did when he broke his maiden on March 2nd, where he just kind of laid and came with a little bit of a run instead of trying to chase, going 5.5 furlongs and getting a little flattening out a little bit there. Race 5 kicks off the late pick 5 here this afternoon. No carryover in the late pick 5 here at Laurel Park. Let's move to race number 6. This is for 3-year-olds. 3-year-old fillies going 3/4 of a mile. We have a carryover in the Super High 5, $1,704. Scratch here, scratch the 5, Cozy Colby. That's a horse I kind of liked a little bit, but take that one out. We'll start with your top pick. That is the 4, Mucho Tiger. I like this one also for Jamie Ness. Second off a break today for Ness, very good, 29%.
I really struggled with this race. I went around in circles, and I've got a horse I'll get to, not in my top 4, but I will certainly be using. I think this is a spread kind of a race. Yeah, I thought Mucho Tiger ran credibly going a mile before the break. Back in November, Kissed by an Angel, I'm a Cutie Pie. The right kind of horses that have held pretty good form and run quicker than these. Comes back off the break to March 10th. We talked about that track. You wanted to be fairly close. This one got into good position inside into the turn, and then just kind of sucked back just a little bit. And then when Rodriguez kind of got the scrubbing, everything was kind of going on up in front, and she never really kind of got on track. This race, plenty of speed in here. A lot of these horses want to be forward. I think can settle somewhere mid-pack and make one sustained run, say from the 3/8 bowl. I think she'll move up. You talked about that stat second off of this type of break. We talked about the barn ad nauseum. They're going to work here. This horse, I think, will bring a stronger finish against this group.
Yeah, this is a filly who simply doesn't run a bad race. I mean, her bad races, she runs fourth, she gets beat 5 lengths. That's still not a bad race. Second off the layoff, as we mentioned, certainly could improve a bunch. I have the 6 on top, Renee 6 for Kieran McGee. Yeah. Martina Rojas gets the call. Look, backed up that maiden score with the win, first time against winners here on March 10th. The figures work here. They most definitely work here for Renee 6.
And you like that on the 10th. She was able to sustain. The leader was able to reel in Blue Trillion, who was very sharp from the inside. I didn't see that coming from her. I thought she would kind of stalk. She jumped out of the gates. Traub did a nice job of rating, and when Blue Trillion got collared, she dug in. Renee 6 just a little bit better. I think things set up maybe a little better for Renee 6 today, post position and everything else involved. But the 10 is definitely improved. That was a sharp jump up. Did the track carrier. But you know what? When she got headed, if you watch her after the race, she was into it. She kept on with good energy, did Blue Trillion. So if a horse like Diane's Merlot go, and Bunny Hop, which I don't think she's quite as fast as her, maybe she can set up shop just outside, stalking and moving in. I think Lisa's Palace is another one who's able to beat Renee 6 on the go back. Dominated the field last time for 20, going longer. Never looked like a loser. Even got fanned out 5-6 wide, turning for home. Ran away from that field. She's going to love what's going on up in front. I mean, she could be – I think she's going to be close to 8-10 out of it by the time they leave the 3/8 bowl. But I think things will come back to her a little bit, and she'll close in to this contested pace today. 4-6, 8-10. You've got the 7 True Sunshine. No, out of the Renee 6 race. A good effort there, caught wide and grinded it out. Tromby second off a claim, a barn that doesn't claim a lot, so they like something about her.
Yeah, my biggest knock, and I still used her right there, is, boy, she can find some trouble. She can find trouble at the break. She can find trouble just about anywhere in the running of the race. So a clean trip certainly is not going to hurt her chances today. But good race.
I think
first off the claim, jumping up in her last race.
Yeah, I think 6th race, a good betting race, Tim. I'm going to touch upon Bunny Hop real quick. Feliciano, you look at the buyer figures, tops out at a 40. Nothing real special. But she is fast. I mean, and she was on the worst part of the racetrack. Yes, at 40-1 against CC Royal. Took that heat, went sharp, 22-3, 45-4. These were faster than like 12-5 older starter girls that day.
Sure.
Wicked internals. If Diane's Merlot doesn't quite break, she's out there. She will be on my ticket, no doubt. I think she carries them a long way here with an underrated rider, Jean Alvello. So 4-6, 8-10, going to toss into 2 a little bit in a kind of a head scratcher in race 6.
Well, it's a nice race for the Super High 5, and it is a head scratcher. Race 7, allowance, first level allowance race for Maryland breds, I believe. Yes, I read it right. How about that? 5.5 furlongs. This race, to me, is an interesting race. You have the 3 Heldish on top. We're going to go to the videotape right here. Her last start, March 24th. We're going to look at the start a couple times and then the end of the race.
Yeah, just didn't break super sharp, then got bounced around and squeezed. And you see all of a sudden she's 4 or 5 out of it right there. Boom, in a blink of an eye. So she's going to have to work to get up to the pace. She ends up being only 2 and change out of it by the time they hit the half-mile pole or the far turn. And look, this gets position, waits, has to sit chilly a little bit around the turn, and then a little bit of traffic she's got to navigate through, or he's got to navigate through, through the final furlong. But once the seam comes clear here, finishes up, I thought, quite willingly. Good effort. The judge and jury going a 2 other than optional. Now back a little quick, back in 12 days. There's a little bit of a concern. This barn did come out with a winter Union Fleet off a 17-day break. But Heldish, he's held form of late. And I think with a cleaner break, he can get position off of that speed of one-way traffic freeze the fire.
Yes. I agree. And the horse has gotten better, been claimed twice since December, has certainly gotten better. But here's a horse that It'll make you nuts. Look down his trouble line. Bump start, pinch start, bump start, pinch start, step slow. And it doesn't take much. Just like there, it wasn't much, but once the horses see a little bit of open space, they move to it. And if you don't break with them, they put you out the back door, and it's just incidental. So a good break's going to be important for the 3 Heldish. I have the 6 on top. 5 on top.
Oh, it's a flyer.
I
nice
have the
number.
5 on top. This is a big enchilada for Kieran McGee. Second off a layoff. We talked about that, 32%. And just off a lifetime best figure in his last start. It's a step up in the competition, I think, for sure. But of all these horses in this race, we're going to talk about Freeze the Fire in a minute. These horses have had plenty of opportunity to win. I mean, they've been in races that they've been favored or close to favored, 2-3-1, look like they should win, and they're not. So I figured this was a good time, take a shot at getting a little price here with the big enchilada.
And last time didn't show that he's clearly one-dimensional. I don't think anybody's as fast as one-way traffic for that first opening quarter today. This is a horse, the 7-horse coming back for Salzman. Hasn't been seen since mid-January. Rode the grain of the racetrack. Sharp internals. Jumps up to a buyer of 75. That was first Lasix. Second Lasix stat here for Salzman Jr. 7 for 15, 47%. That's excluding the first-time starters with a positive ROI. On the engine here, definitely a tougher field, but this is the time of year. The 3-year-olds are now going in and facing their elders, and I'm always going to lean a little bit towards horses like that, holding the form, getting a chance to get better. As you said, a lot of these others, they've had opportunities. This one's already won the other than the 3-year-old optional. I think this one goes a long way. And Freeze the Fire certainly going to take a ton of play in here. A little bit of seconditis, right, the last 3, but you see the company lines. He's going to be right up there tracking. I think he makes the first move into one-way traffic.
And going back to one-way traffic, coming off that layoff from Josh Salzman, working very, very well in the morning when you look at his work tab for one-way traffic. 3-6-7-1 for Keith.
Okay.
5-6-1-3 for myself. I'm on my long shot pick of the day.
Yeah.
Let's move on to race 8. This is a first-level allowance race for 3-year-olds going a mile. Let's go right to the video board. We're going to start with the 1, Quince Brew.
Let's go. Yep.
This was a pretty impressive performance. We're going to do it at the start, check out the start a couple times, and then we're going to pick it up later in the race.
7-1. They got the money. That's all I can tell you. You got one that runs an 88 first time out.
Oof, what a figure.
Yeah, breaks a little bit slow and gets sent up in between horses. Rushed early. Your comment is going to battle, shake clear, and hold firm over Patinga's twin, who's come back, to win. So you look at this effort. All of the work that this horse has had to do from start to the quarter pole still repels the challenge. We talked about the family, Captain Quint, who said, and Captain Quint was a horse that's able to stretch out. My only knock against this one, that was a Mosler on a wet track. Did that really enhance? But I think this horse showed you he's got some serious talent, and they got the money there. Congrats to the whole gang. That was sharp. I'll take a little flyer here. I think with the scratch of Secret Zipper might have been a little bit closer. Quince Brew, going to be tough if he breaks. I mean, he'll be going out there on the front end. But American War Hero, kind of the stranger here for Graham Motion. And we've got a stat. This horse is coming off a little bit of a break as well. Last 3 years, though, on the dirt. Motion, 8 for 13 with the 3-year-olds. First Lasix, 62%, excluding the firsters, with an ROI of 303. Adding blinkers, that's been a positive move. And this is a colt who's kind of out of a grade 1 place mare. I don't think the distance is going to be an issue today, moving out a mile off the break. This one will be prepped. The blinkers going on bring a little bit more focus. He's going to need to be focused and need to be close because at this mile distance, I don't want you 6 out of it turning for home. I want you in the mix by the time they straighten away.
First-time Lasix also, Triple Crown nominated, American War Hero for Graham Motion. The 5 we could talk about a little bit. Work His Life. Blinkers go on this one for Mikey Dralis.
Looked like a horse that needs money. He just kind of last time out just wasn't quite getting it in, moseying in right. Yeah. I'm just going to kind of roll up here late. brings a little bit more focus. Definitely could stalk the pace. Goodbye note, I think, will be forward. This one can be forward, though, has the route experience on its belly. American War Hero kept trying, though, in the half with all of that adversity, and some horses have come out of there to run big races. 3-1-5-2, I know we're a little light on time.
Yeah, we're a little light on time, but that's a nice feature race today for opening day here or spring meet. Let's move on to race 9. This is a maiden 12. Going a mile, and we'll start with your top pick. That's 2, Just the Thing for Jose Corrales.
I don't have a whole lot to say about this race. That's good. It's our wrap-up race. Just go to the front, and let's see how far we can go with Maldonado, the 10-pound apprentice.
I'm going to go with the 3, Lorraine's Way, coming off a positive effort. Now, not a good number. Mile 16.
Yeah.
153 flat, just stunning him there. But 2 back. Yeah. And I was against tougher, and you always get dragged along to a little bit better number. Going the 1-turn mile was a little bit better race. So the race 9, it's very bettable. There's no doubt about that. Maximum Emily. Let's talk about that one. The S6 horse real quick, coming down from New York, cutting in half for all practical purposes. Look, debut wasn't very good, but
I think she might be a little bit of a thorn in my top selections side with the drop. I would have liked to seen a little bit more out of debut for 20s. This is where she belongs after that first start. Yeah, Bacall, but needed more inside. This horse 3 back. That buyer can win it at the one-turn mile for TJ Guire. I think down inside last time, I have a little bit of a notation on the 16th that the wide paths were a little bit better overall. So maybe just didn't pick it up. This horse is maybe the one you reach in, and if you're trying to get out, I still think you're going to get double digits off of that last race.
Well, if you have any hunch ideas, TJ won't be with us this afternoon. His wife is expecting their first child today. So things like that happen a bit. But, hey, look, a good race 3 back. The race you were talking about, maybe Bacall can get it done. Let's talk about your price play and your value play real quick.
All right. Yeah, best bet of the day. Again, Mo Tough way down now off the line with that scratch of Baby Sox coming out. So cleaner break. Angel Cruz, I think, should be able to just kind of go out there and control things on the front end. I just don't see anybody in here to challenge her early. She's shown she can handle the dirt. She's shown she can handle a challenge. So I'll give her the top nod here today in race number 3. Number 1, Mo Tough. Value play? Heldish. Yeah, I keep chasing Heldish. Heldish, it doesn't matter. Give me something with an H. If we break clean, we're going to be up in a good striking spot, because I do think Freeze the Fire will move in to that Salesman runner that's really, really quick. Second Lasix off the break. But, maybe today. Come on, Barbosa. Heldish 9-2 comes down a touch, I do believe, as well.
That's going to do it for us. We're going to throw it to Dave Rodman for scratches and changes.
All right. Good luck, everybody.